To address these concerns, I've made a series of amendments to the resolution that capture the spirit of the policy, but would allow continued conversation with the task force and other stakeholders about how we actually do metering. I really believe strongly as a city that we need to start developing tools that actually help create affordable housing. In our housing element alone, we talk about how we need to build at 60% affordable, but we currently aren't doing that at our city. And I think it's important to start the discussion of what it means to actually create tools of measuring our development of affordable housing and then actually creating some tools to enforce that.
I grew up in New York City, born to my parents who had immigrated here to the US. I actually started really becoming active in working in the community when I was in high school. Came out to California for college, went to Stanford. I was always very politically involved, I was politically engaged. When I was a college student, I worked on statewide initiatives like working against Prop 209, which was going to get rid of affirmative action in our public government system. Currently, we have 3 legislative items that are pending. We're going through the process. The first, actually, which is going to be coming to a final vote on Tuesday, is our mid-market uptown tenderloin tax exemption legislation. So it's basically an incentive to encourage businesses to come to mid-market. In particular, where we have the highest commercial vacancy. And then when I graduated, moved up to San Francisco about 12 years ago. I've always loved San Francisco in college, and I just wanted to try it out. I started working actually in economic development policies for low-income communities here statewide in California. And then I was a community organizer for 6 years. I worked with young people, parents, and families around issues that concern our neighborhoods, whether it was improving muni lines, affordable housing, public schools, or just planning issues in neighborhoods like parks, rec centers. First, we just had a hearing last week, and we're trying to do some work around bed bug enforcement, which is a major issue in the Tenderloin and Nob Hill and 6th Street. And the second area is and the hearing will actually be on Thursday, April 7th at 10:30. We're doing our first hearing on pedestrian safety for District 6. For our district, I think public safety is a huge concern. And when I say public safety, it ranges from both low-level crime to pedestrian safety. And so that's a really important issue to me. District 6 has the highest rate in the city. I mean, we're probably more than double what every other district has in terms of incidents. And they're preventable, and we can do better.
District 6 is home to one of the most diverse constituents here in the city. We have the poorest residents of San Francisco. We have LGBT, we have immigrants, people of color, we have youth, and a highest proportion of seniors in the city as well. We heard that people want to see more jobs. We want to see access to more jobs for our residents. We want to see more preventative versus just reactive. So we want to see youth after-school programs versus the police picking up our youth because they're out on the street, which I think our chief agrees with.
I actually ran for the Board of Education here in San Francisco. I got to serve a term on our school board working for our families in our public school system. And what really surprised me about being on the school board was how much I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved meeting with families, meeting with youth, meeting with teachers, visiting schools, and getting a deeper understanding of what it means to make our system work better. The one thing I really enjoyed about this campaign, because I got to run within a district instead of running citywide, is that I really got to know voters and residents. I actually enjoyed campaigning more because I had time to actually door knock and meet voters individually. And I loved it. I actually really enjoyed being out on the field. I love door knocking, and so I actually spent a lot of time doing it because I got to really get a deeper understanding of what people cared about and what people's concerns are, and also what people loved about the district and the city. I was talking with the mayor yesterday, and he's very interested in seeing how he can work with our office to support the garment industry in South of Market. I would love for us to figure out what we can do to support small businesses because they really are the heart of San Francisco. They actually provide and create 60 to 70% of the jobs here in San Francisco, and they provide it locally, and they're not going to go, they're not going to offshore their jobs anytime. I'm not a proponent for cleaning up the Tenderloin. I love the Tenderloin. I love what it is right now. I recognize that we have a diversity of folks that live there, and people don't want to see open drug dealing. I don't have a problem with people being out on the streets and socializing And you know, I think that is good. You know, that to me is more, you know, it's part of the character of the neighborhood. I get to represent, I think, one of the most exciting and dynamic districts in the city. It's where change is happening. And so I think it's really exciting in terms of how we can model what it means to be a smart growth neighborhood, how we can use transit and housing effectively to serve our city, and also to do a lot of the new green type policies and building that we've developed over the last 10 years.